You can't just leave a $100 million secret fighter jet lying at the bottom of the ocean. Hello, everyone. If you agree with that sentiment, watching military personnel recover and refurbish aircraft, tanks, submarines, and even spaceships can be quite fascinating. Anyway, grab a big hammer and get ready to switch to some rough language. We're about to dive into the repair of some heavy machinery. So, let's get started. Submarine rescue operations. The case of USS San Francisco. The worst-case scenario for a submarine is an accident underwater. Such a fate befell the submarine USS San Francisco on January 8, 2005, when it collided with an uncharted seamount 675 kilometers southeast of Guam. After the front ballast tank ruptured, the crew struggled for hours to restore buoyancy, ultimately causing the submarine to resurface 2 days later. But what if the submarine remained on the ocean floor? In such a case, the primary challenge would be the rescue of the crew. To address this, the U.S. has the Submarine Rescue Diving and Recompression System, SRDRS. This unmanned underwater vehicle can operate at depths of up to 610 meters, rescuing and bringing up crew members while providing decompression and treatment. The device can accommodate 12 people at once and perform up to 4 dives of 6 hours each per day. SRDRS can be deployed in just 72 hours and is available for use worldwide. Fortunately, the USS San Francisco did not require such a system. At the time, SRDRS did not yet exist. The San Francisco safely arrived in Guam with the assistance of 3 accompanying ships and entered dry dock for emergency repairs. This is the front of the submarine after the collision. We hope your car never ends up in this condition. In any case, everything needed to be repaired. After emergency repairs, the San Francisco looked like this. While there were improvements, this was just the first step toward full restoration. The submarine was transferred to Puget Sound Naval Shipyard, PSNS, in Bremerton, Washington, and the bow of the decommissioned nuclear submarine USS Honolulu was relocated. Everything went according to plan. This was a grand $79 million makeover, akin to major surgery, giving the submarine a better new nose during the procedure. How does it look? Pretty cool, right? The repaired San Francisco served in the Navy until 2022. So, all these rescue operations were far from being in vain. Armored combat vehicles. Tanks are fantastic vehicles. On a flat road, they won't spill a drop of beer. How about using them for rush hour delivery services? However, in actual combat conditions, tanks have to traverse not-so-comfortable places like rough terrain or wet ground, and such journeys may not always end safely. That's why the military goes to the trouble of recreating emergencies on training grounds and learning how to recover tanks from the mud. All you need for that is a sturdy rope and a heavier Leopard 2A6. It's not easy, but the Leopard 2A6 can pull the Leopard 2A4 onto solid roads. If there are no other tanks around, there's the all-wheel drive MAN SX45. This vehicle comes with a winch and has enough power to handle such tasks. Combat engineer vehicles and military bulldozers are also suitable for towing. When these vehicles are armored, they are also used to evacuate armored combat vehicles from the battlefield. If they can be repaired and used again, you can't just leave expensive tanks lying around. With machines like these, you can even replace the Caterpillar tracks on the spot. Some may think it's easy, but it's not. First, you need a big hammer. What? No hammer? What are you talking about? I told you at the beginning. Just as I said, hit it a few times with a hammer and you can be towed to the workshop. There, even replacing the engine is easy. In Ukraine, there's a workshop like this for Ukrainian soldiers, hidden in a secret location that the enemy must not discover. Here, in real combat situations, Leopards, Challengers, and Abrams are repaired and sent back to the battlefield. P8A Poseidon. On November 20, 2023, the P8A Poseidon aircraft overran the runway, plunging into the waters near the Marine Corps base in Hawaii, getting stranded on a shallow reef made of sand and coral. The 9 people on board were safely rescued, and now it's time to recover the aircraft. First, a plan was devised after extracting 7,500 liters of fuel. The plan involves using airbags inflated with air to pull the 60-ton aircraft from the shallow waters onto the surface and then moving it to the runway. According to military estimates, the cost of this recovery operation is $1.5 million. Certainly cheaper than a new aircraft. Spaceship. Even if extraterrestrials were to crash land on Earth, there's nothing to worry about. The U.S. military has a well-prepared system to easily retrieve flying saucers from the sea and put them on a ship. Since 2013, NASA and the U.S. Navy have conducted several tests to recover the capsule of the spaceship Orion from underwater for the realization of the Artemis program, and each test has been successful. In the first phase of the Artemis program, Artemis 1, the launch rocket SLS, carrying the spaceship Orion, was launched towards the Moon, and then the capsule was to return to Earth. At this stage, there was only a mannequin inside the capsule, but even a mannequin deserves to be rescued. Don't you think so? So, the sailors of the dock landing ship Arlington first learned how to find and lift objects underwater, assist the crew in escaping, and, of course, rescue mannequins. This operation involved ship crew members, divers, and doctors, and of course, a truck driver. And of course, the truck driver had the noble mission of delivering the capsule to NASA's base. After all, you can't just put the capsule in your pocket. The last training took place on November 16, 2022, after the launch of SLS. Then, on December 11th of the same year, the military ship Portland headed to the area where the spaceship was scheduled to splash down. The ship was different, but all the tasks were carried out smoothly, and the capsule was brought into the ship without any problems. It was a small step for mannequins, but a giant leap for mankind. While there were no extraterrestrials found inside the capsule, the mannequins were in high spirits and even gave our video a thumbs up. By the way, did you give our video a thumbs up? F35 Fighter Jet. On January 24, 2022, the U.S. stealth fighter jet, the F35 Lightning II, had an accident while landing on the aircraft carrier Carl Vinson in the South China Sea. The pilot successfully ejected and was rescued, but the $100 million fighter jet caught fire, rolled off the deck, and fell into the sea. It's understandable that the U.S. didn't want to hand over such a trophy to China or Russia. Therefore, on March 2, 2022, a group of sailors began the recovery operation of the fighter jet. To lift the aircraft from a depth of 3,800 meters, the special ship DSCV Picasso was used. From this Picasso, a remotely operated submersible CURV-21 was deployed underwater. With it, special rigging was attached to the aircraft, and a rope for hoisting was connected to the ship's crane. Certainly, this fighter jet will no longer return to active service, but for other F-35s, regular repairs are conducted to restore their flight capabilities. And it turns out that the process is quite complex. While there are 44 parts that military personnel can replace on site or at repair facilities, considering that it takes an average of 141 days to repair one fighter jet, that's just a small number. Repairs might be faster, but most of the work has to be outsourced to contractors. In the future, the Pentagon plans to reduce the average repair period to 60 days by increasing the number of replaceable parts to 68. Amid delays in recovering the total number of aircraft due to bureaucracy and logistics, the U.S. Air Force has come up with an innovative method to obtain new F-35s by assembling them from two damaged planes. One part comes from the fighter jet AF-211, which had its front landing gear torn off during landing in June 2020. Then, the nose section of this AF-211 is exchanged with the undamaged half of the fighter jet AF-27, which had an engine fire in 2014. This project is named Frankenbird, inspired by Frankenstein, who created life from inanimate parts. By 2028, it is expected that the two monstrous parts of this fighter jet will be sewn together. Do you think it will succeed? Well then, that concludes today's video. Thank you everyone for watching. We appreciate you being with us. We hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please consider giving it a thumbs up or sharing it on social media. Let us know what you think. With your support, we'll definitely create more videos on similar topics. So for now, it's farewell for a little while. Until next time everyone, see you soon. Goodbye.